Welcome back, you giggling gals. We're going to chat about the new duology that came out October 7th, Godsbane by Lindsey Richardson.
Warning, while we may be your giggling gal pals, we don't recommend listening to this podcast around little ears or ears that may be offended because we say bad words and shitty things. And a reminder that our thoughts, feelings, theories, and just things that we say can evolve, change, and be debunked, or just be completely off the rails. Regardless, it's all for fun and it's not that deep.
So let's talk about Godsbane.
I've been
The,
waiting for this episode.
you,
I can't shut the fuck up.
you read it in August, and I waited till September. You talked about it every day, every single day.
So
You're like,
I'm,
I stopped talking about this.
I'm so glad we're here.
I'm glad. And today, you guys don't know this, but is the official release day on the day that we're recording. So I'm just so excited for Lindsay.
I am too. Like, this book deserves the hype that we are giving it. It truly does.
So let's get into the official synopsis. Everything you know about your gods is a lie. Born into a ruling family, Ivy Fellows is no stranger to power. In a nation devoid of magic and forced to worship the Golden Pantheon, Ivy has used her position to loudly oppose the gods, earning her enemies and a slanderous nickname. When the king dies without an heir, Ivy must take her ailing father's place at the Ascension vote to stop the most powerful man in Corinth from taking the throne. Armed with weapons, wit, and a secret earth magic in her veins, Ivy is ready to make the cross-country trek to the capital city, even if it means traveling with the battle-famed Captain Callan Murphy, a man with a reputation even larger than her own. But securing him as an ally leads to more than Ivy bargained for. A forbidden discovery of rebellion, bargains, prophecy, and destiny culminates in an earth-shattering revelation that upends everything Ivy believes to be true. Faced with a new reality, Ivy must navigate her rapidly expanding magic and growing feelings for Callan to accomplish the change, the fate of her country, her world, and herself. Its first book in a planned fantasy romance duology is perfect for fans of the descriptive prose of Crowns of Nyaxia, the vibes of Play to Prisoner series, and the political intrigue of Game of Thrones and layered adventures of Throne of Glass.
Of all those, I've only read the Play to Prisoner series. I haven't watched Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, that show. And obviously read Throne of Glass. But, I agree with those two at least.
I feel like with Plated, I'll say Cal is definitely different than Slade, but we know Lindsay loves Slade. So I see some similarities, but totally different character, but there's the same type of vibe there. And so I'm into it. We'll
This,
talk about them.
yeah, the same tier. We will get into it all. So after the synopsis, obviously, there's her dedication. It is top tier. For anyone that has ever felt poisonous, and, sometimes I'm a little toxic. I literally was just bitching about my husband. So I feel so seen, especially right now. I love
Same.
this book, and the dedication is for me.
She literally just went on a rampage for 15 minutes.
I was feeling a little poisonous, and we are good now.
Yeah, we're good.
Before we get into it, huge shout out to Lindsay. There is a pronunciation guide, and we don't get those enough. So thank you. Anyone who adds one is a huge angel.
I know. Why don't all authors do that? But I want Sarah J. Maas to rewrite and say it's Manon and not Manon because I refuse.
My cat is Manon. Manon Blackbeak, not Manon. She is Manon. So I
I'm not
get it.
doing it.
We're right. She is wrong.
I don't care that she created it, but she's wrong.
But if we did that, people would get so pissed off because people do get pissed off about Sarah Janet's pronunciations and names and
Mhm.
all that jazz.
But
People will never be happy.
Our girl Lindsay is smart. She put it in the beginning, so before things get stuck in her head, saying it wrong, it's right
She
in there.
also chose names just because she liked them. So like you don't have to get into the pronunciation of them all or anything. Like she made it really easy for us, and I love that for us. So, our overall impressions of the book, we both got this book as an ARC read, and I obviously loved it. I don't even need to get too excited, but I'm excited that everyone else gets to read it now too. With all the ARC ratings, it was at a 4.54 before release, being as we're recording on release day. I haven't checked. Um, but I did give it 5 stars. What drew me in is I am a slut for gods and goddesses, both. You get into the prologue, which something major happens, only to have like that moment identified later, and then we immediately start off with the dead king. And I love it when a man in charge is 86 immediately. Its pacing is great throughout the book. The story is constantly kept moving while keeping you intrigued, and it leaves little room for boredom. It's such a refreshing take on the gods.
I like Kylie, I'm a slut. I mean, I mean, specifically for gods and goddesses, among other things. I love the lore of what she's created with her gods and her goddesses. The pacing really is perfection, especially as a book one, because how many fantasy books are there where people are like, you just have to get through book one. It gets great. It's good at the last 100 pages. And which I say that all the time.
Literally, we just talked about Sarah Janet, and that is one of those books you're like, just get through the first book. You won't understand it. You
That
literally
is not this book, though. Like, something is always happening, and the magic system and the world are just easy to understand right away. Like, you just get it.
it doesn't feel like an author's first book, truly, just
No.
because the way that she gets you immersed in it, the way you feel like you know everything because the way you're fed information, you're not left out of the know. It really is not an introductory book. Like
Mhm.
no freshman book here. This is like senior writing. I'm into it, obviously.
Senior writing. It's senior writing. But I agree. Like, it's crazy that this is her debut book.
Not geriatric, just to clarify. I mean, your grandma could read this. The spice in it, though, may give grandma a heart attack. It is
I don't know. Like, my Grandma Pam, has been reading Danielle Steele my entire life. And I feel like she's a little spicy. I don't know how spicy. Probably pretty vanilla spicy.
yeah. Have you ever read a Danielle Steele book?
No, but my grandma's a big romance reader. So
I wonder if it's love making or fucking. I don't think you need to think about your grandma what she's into.
I was like, I'm good without knowing what Grandma Pam. I'm just going to stop talking because thanks for that, Kylie. Really, thanks.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Which brings me to our main character, Ivy, who gets
I
real.
What a great transition. Hey, let's talk about what your grandma's getting off on. And then that brings me to our main character.
Ivy gets railed in like the best ways possible.
Sorry. Just the going from talking about my grandma to Ivy gets railed really threw me for a fucking loop there. But
I love saying that. My first line is Ivy's such a relatable character.
Ivy's such a relatable character. She gets fucking railed. Okay.
Love that for her.
I do.
Really, which we will talk about her, not necessarily her getting railed, but who rails. So a lot of us are told that we are too much our entire lives. We're just too much energy, too much excitement, too much passion about things that are unconventional. Anything Ivy does as the only female heir to the governor of the 5 jeweled regions is just too much. Her hiding her magic really represents her hiding her true self for protection. And of course, a bunch of men give her a shitty nickname, Poison Ivy, so she will never be taken seriously like most of us.
I mentioned this in our interview with Lindsay, but one thing I personally relate to is just kind of accepting the villain title that people give you and just kind of being okay with it. But it is a slippery slope. That's what she said. Because it can become a crutch and a way to hide from people. She's also someone that really leans into humor and makes a joke about everything. Also, it's relatable for both of us.
Yeah, I have definitely made jokes at very inappropriate times, that other people don't find funny, but it's also because I don't know how to handle my emotions or did not. We've worked through a lot of that, but yeah, I definitely can relate to shitty jokes.
I mean, sometimes trauma's just funny. So
I think my trauma is funny, but other people are like, "Whoa, that's an overshare and not funny." I'm like, "Is to me."
well, they sound like a bunch of fucking squares. So
Corks. Speaking of Ivy getting railed, it is by one of the best male main characters that we've met in a while. He is a well-written male main character. Callan Murphy, I love you. There are tiers of shadow daddies. Like Rezan just doesn't exist in one. He's his own. But like Zayden and Slade, who no one can ever top them. Cal meets them though. He deserves it. He is one of the best males that we've met in so long. And he's above Throne of Glass males for me.
well, you know how I feel about Throne of Glass Men. I like them. I'm just not they don't do a lot for me.
They they don't have anything that's like as memorable. But
No.
Cal, he is I love him so much. He gives golden retriever energy when he's, like, not being the commander, but when he is being spicy, like, the things that he says, holy shit, I'm, like, blushing, and it's been a while since I've had that. He's amazing.
For like some of the newer MMCs that we've had in the last year for like a book one, he's top. Like,
Yeah.
I would say for other ones that I've read this year, like new books, I really do like Ransom, The Guardian, but
Mhm.
like book 1, it's hard to really make you fall in love, and I really like Cal, and I feel like book 2, he's gonna pop off.
Yes. A lot of the new books we've read, it's a lot of, "Okay, well, I think he could be
Potential.
up there, but we gotta wait for book 2," and that's not Cal. Like,
I agree.
Cal Lindsay did an incredible job writing him. Ivy describes him as he may very well be a siren song sent to tempt me, a poison created to control me, or a false prophet meant to pull me from my true path. Whatever the gods designed him to be, they designed him to be mine. And same. That is such an accurate statement for Cal. Ivy's a smart gal. Because I mean, this line, I normally I would select multiple, but I kept it to one line. No, I didn't. I put 2 in there.
I was like, "You put 3 in a row."
Fuck! I was like, "I'm only gonna do 1," and my idiot ass is like, "No, I only did 1, and I literally just read 1." Okay, so guys, I'm so into Cal. Like, from your holiest to your most depraved, all you have to do is whisper it, and I will make it reality. Where have we had a man like that in a while? He's a depraved sinner at my altar. Like, God, I love you. Not, I mean, I love you too, but I also like really love Cal.
That's fair.
I said it publicly, and there's video of it.
Ha luckily, you get to edit, so
Oh yeah.
you can take it out. So, I really, really loved Cal. The man could use some Orbit gum because his mouth is fucking filthy, but, like, in a good way. I am honestly so excited to see him in book 2, especially now we know his background because I feel like it'll add some more grit to him, maybe is the word that I want. Like, he's filthy, filthy mouth, and I'm into it.
The first time I wrote filthy, I was DMing Lindsay and I was like, Cal's a filthy mouth. I love him. And that is literally the best word to describe him because I mean, but filthy in a good way. Not like
Yeah.
scuzzy. Like, oh my God.
No, I think he brushes his teeth. Like, no, it's
Yeah, for
just
sure.
he's got good oral hygiene. He's just the things that come out of his mouth. Mhm. Yes.
He needs an exorcism for the things that comes out of his mouth. Like they're that dirty. I love it.
Once again, our girl's getting railed and we're happy for her.
When I say in the best way possible, I mean it. Like the spice is written so well. And just to think like she was sitting at a bar writing these spicy scenes.
Not she was either sitting in a bar writing oh, yeah, in the spicy scenes or, like, outside your daughter's dance class, and I love that.
Just so casual in public. And this is what she writes. Like I love her brain. I feel like every character that we meet in this story, Ivy's besties, Cal's brothers, were given the perfect amount of information at the time that, like, without being an information overload with them. I just feel like every character is so balanced and we know them, and just every bit of information is perfectly received.
Yeah, she does a really good job at this book because, you read some books and you're like a lot of different names and you're like, God, do I need to remember all those? She trickles them in, gives the perfect amount of information, and she's just top tier. Great job, Linz. I'm friends with her.
Lin- Linz, we're besties at this point. She doesn't get a choice. Like when she starts talking about the five jeweled regions, and we have emerald, diamond, amethyst, topaz, and sapphire, and you hear about Lord Marks in there, like he's going to be the villain. Once again, she's giving information about him and the region, and so you're just learning so much. Her writing is just so consistent with how much information she's constantly feeding you about the world, and so it's just really easy to get immersed into and understand, which is huge. Not only thanks to the pronunciation guide, but because how well it's written.
She truly is an excellent writer, and even just what she did with, like, the foreboding, reoccurring dream that Ivy's been dreaming for years and the suspense of it, as well as the execution of the reveal, chef's kiss. Like, excellent job.
All right, so over halfway into the book, there is this scene. I should be stronger. I should trust anything orchestrated by the gods. I should resist him. But what if I didn't? My entire life has been a resistance against the magic in my veins, against the fated name for my dreams, against the gods forced down on our unwilling throats. What if I want to break all my rules? What if I want to deny the voice that tells me I'm poisonous? The voice that tells me that no one could love who I've become? What if I gave myself over entirely to the man from my dreams, if only for a single night? The kiss we share is claiming, consuming, devouring, as if we're dying, and our only hope for salvation is the other soul. Lindsay is a fucking wordsmith. I seriously have so much highlighted because, like, just where it's at in the book and how she's building this world, it's
And
incredible.
she does it in a way that's not word salad, too. Like,
Yes.
it is which is easy to do, but, like, it's great.
I just love this part. Ivy is ready to give in to Cal. She's ready to give in to herself, her wants, her needs. It's just a pivotal point in the book where Ivy really grabs life by the balls.
I think there's just a point in every woman's life where they're tired of playing small, they're tired of hiding behind things, and it's just kind of our fuck it moment, but for life. And I just want to encourage you all to have your fuck it moment. Live like Ivy.
I think somebody once upon a time said, like, you only live once.
Yeah, like hashtag YOLO.
Not to age us,
No.
but, you know, overall, I 100% recommend this book. I don't know if that comes to a
Shocking.
surprise to you.
Get out of here, really?
What I said on Goodreads was I cannot wait to physically own this book, which I do now. It's right here. It's fast paced and never lacking in its storyline, and an incredibly captivating political romance fantasy about gods and goddesses without any bloat. Immediately, you will fall in love with Cal, a main character worth instantly swooning over. The amount of quotes I've highlighted of this are unrivaled. Love this book, and I cannot wait for Ivy and Cal to continue their journey. Another book that I am mourning over. Like I said, I mourned over it. It was one of my favorite summer reads. It was one of those books you just think about constantly, and I still do. It really left an impression. So great job to Lindsay. I can't wait to see where book two goes and where like the story gets tied up. So if you enjoy the Blood and Ash and the Flesh and Fire series by Jennifer L. Armentrout or Saga of the Unfated, which is A Fate Inked in Blood, A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen, as well as the series we mentioned earlier, like Plated. You'll like this book. Excited for book two, so we can dive in and see all the foreshadowing and the nuggets that we didn't notice in this round.
No question, I would recommend this book. I think it's honestly a book to recommend to a new fantasy reader as well as an experienced one.
Yes.
Lindsay does such a great job in her world building that it never feels overwhelming. And since the story is always moving, it's great for our ADHD readers who are like, okay, but when's the action going to start? You don't need to think that because it's already happening. And I'm very excited for book two. Lindsay is writing it now, and we have at least a year and some change until the next. But I'm very, very excited for it. I'm also jacked to reread this book before we get the next book because Kai and I will do our detective work, and we'll definitely have an episode out before book two with some theories and predictions.
I can't wait to see all the little nuggets she gave us.
I can't wait to see it like out in the world and like everyone loving it because I really think it has, I mean, it should be one of the next big romantasy reads.
I agree. Like we've said 1,000 times, it is such a breath of fresh air. It gives us something new. It's such a fun read.
And her gods are different, like than like most gods, like because sometimes they can feel repetitive in different stories. This is different. It is like you said, a brush of breath air. It's a breath of
A
fresh air.
brush of fresh air.
Mike Tyson on Goodreads said it's a breath of fresh air. Okay, that's how I would describe this book. Thank you so much for hanging out and giggling with us while we talked about Godsbane by Lindsey Richardson. We have new episodes out every Wednesday. And have you joined the community of High Ladies? It's our virtual book club where we are currently binging the series that started it all for us, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah Janet Maas. Expect extra videos, discussion questions, and the best time. It's the closest you can get to being back in Valaris with the cereal dropping the tea.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for all of our latest updates, theories, and more new book goofing. Make sure you also give us a review wherever you listen. All links are in our info, you giggling gal pals. We will see you next week.